Ever pondered what could shatter the tranquility of retirement? Picture this: a quiet afternoon, a ringing telephone, and a friend's voice trembling with urgency. That was my life one fateful day when Catherine, an old friend from Arizona, called for help. She and her son Tivon had stumbled upon a chilling discovery while cleaning their car: a dead body in the trunk. Instead of alerting the authorities, they reached out to me. Who am I, you ask? I'm Grandpa George. I'm a retired detective with a knack for untangling webs of mystery. So there I was, stepping off a plane into the blistering heat of Arizona, ready to delve into a mystery that would introduce me to a cast of 4 characters, each with their secrets and motives. First, there was Catherine, a single parent struggling to make ends meet. The victim, a wealthy businessman known for his high-interest loans. Could Catherine, desperate to escape her debts, have resorted to murder? Then there was Tivon, Catherine's son, a troubled teen with a history of clashing with the victim. Did he seize the opportunity to rid his mother of a thorn in her side? Our third suspect, Mr. Huxley, the friendly neighbor with a not-so-friendly gambling addiction. He owed a large sum to the victim. Had the pressure driven him to a desperate act? And finally, we have Miss Eleanor, the victim's ambitious business partner. Rumors of a fallout had been circulating. Did she see this as an opportunity to eliminate her competition? Everyone, thank you for gathering. We need to discuss the unfortunate event and clear some things up.
George, I insist. I had no inkling how he ended up in my trunk. This is all just a terrible mistake.
And I know I've had my issues, but that doesn't mean I'd hurt anyone. Please, you've got to believe me. I might have had my disputes with the now dead, but to outright imply that I could stoop to the level of a murderer, that's utterly outrageous.
In complete concord with Mr. Huxley, this is preposterous. The shockwave of this calamity reverberates amongst us all. However, we must refrain from making reckless indictments.
Catherine, when was the last time you saw the victim?
About a week ago. He was pressing me for the repayment. I told him I needed more time.
Tivon, you had a public spat with him recently. What was that about?
He was a jerk, all right. He dared to threaten my mother over some damn money. But that sure as hell doesn't mean I murdered him.
Mr. Huxley, your monetary woes are out in the open. Did you view the deceased as a stepping stone out of your financial quicksand?
No, I swear I wouldn't. My plan was to put my home on the market to clear his dues.
Your pockets certainly got heavier after his demise.
Would you mind shedding some light on your recent meetings with him?
Merely a matter of commerce, George. Our alliance was far from smooth, but homicide? Now that's quite a weighty charge.
With a resolute determination, every individual possesses a motive. Yet, motives alone are not the key to cracking cases. It's the moment we must look laser-focused at the facts and unveil who truly lurks behind this veil of mystery. As I dug deeper, each suspect's story began to unravel, revealing a web of secrets, lies, and unexpected connections. This, my dear listeners, is where the plot thickens. Who among these 4 had the most to gain from this murder? Who had the means and the motive? As the desert sunset cast long shadows, I found myself wrestling with the facts, the truth tantalizingly out of reach. And so I turn to you. Who do you think committed the murder? Remember, in the world of crime, things are rarely as they seem. The final reveal awaits, but before that, allow your thoughts to meander through this labyrinth of clues and motives. Who do you think is the true culprit in this desert mystery? As the night enveloped the Arizona desert, I sat watching the garage door open, piecing together the puzzle. It's fascinating how human minds work under pressure, how they weave stories and create alibis, but truth, as they say, always finds its way. Let's revisit our suspects. 1. Catherine. Her financial struggles were real. The pressure of debt could break anyone, but Catherine, a woman of strong morals, seemed incapable of murder. However, desperation can drive people to extremes. 2. Tivon. A young man caught in the wrong crowd, trying to carve out his identity. His altercation with the victim was a significant red flag. But was it enough to push him to murder? 3. Mr. Huxley. His gambling addiction and debt to the victim were concerning. People have committed crimes for less. But was Huxley capable of taking a life to clear his debts? 4. Miss Eleanor. A shrewd businesswoman with ambition burning in her eyes. The victim was an obstacle in her path to success. But was murder her method of removing this obstacle? Each had a motive, Each had the means, but who had the opportunity? As I revisited the crime scene, a small but crucial detail caught my eye. A piece of evidence previously overlooked, something only the murderer would have known to leave behind. It was the missing piece of this complex puzzle. Now, dear audience, before I reveal the murderer, think, who had the most to lose and who had the most to gain? Who was desperate enough, angry enough, or ambitious enough to commit such a heinous act? The answer lies in the subtleties, in the small details that weave the fabric of this mystery. And now the moment of truth. The murderer was, Miss Eleanor. Yes, the ambitious business partner. It may come as a surprise, but let me explain how the pieces fit. Eleanor's motive was clear. She wanted to take over the business and eliminate the victim, her only obstacle. But what about the opportunity? This is where the subtlety of the crime becomes evident. Eleanor had expertly manipulated the situation to cast suspicion away from herself. Remember the small piece of evidence I found at the crime scene? It was a unique type of pen, one that belonged to Eleanor's company. Initially it seemed insignificant, but it was the clue that unraveled her carefully constructed alibi. Eleanor had planned to frame Catherine for the murder. She knew about Catherine's financial struggles and her connection to the victim. By placing the body in Catherine's car, she hoped the investigation would lead to Catherine, diverting all suspicion away from herself. But why didn't Catherine call the police? She was terrified. She knew how it looked. A dead body in her trunk, her financial ties to the victim. She feared being wrongfully accused. That's why she called me. As for the other suspects, their motives were real but circumstantial. Tivon's altercation with the victim was just a heated argument, nothing more. Mr. Huxley, despite his debts, didn't have the nerve for murder. So, dear audience, the truth is often hidden beneath layers of deceit. It takes a keen eye to see through the facade, to uncover the reality beneath. Eleanor's arrest came as a shock to everyone. Her facade of a successful businesswoman shattered, revealing the cold, calculating murderer underneath. As I reflect on this case, I'm reminded of the complexities of human nature. The lengths people will go to achieve their desires, to hide their true selves. It's a reminder that in the world of mystery and crime, nothing is ever as straightforward as it seems. And with that, another case closed. Until the next mystery calls, remember the truth is out there waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content such as this one.